To watch Paul McCartney on stage, it's easy to forget he's been at this for 45 years.
When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be.
Generations have grown up with McCartney's music.
She is standing right in front of me.
Where would you say you're most proud of your contribution to the world?
One thing that people always come up to me and the other guys in the Beatles and say is, you really saved my life. It'd be, I was in college and I was going through the worst time, but your music got me through it. Or I was ill. You know, there've been quite a few cases like that, and your music got me through it. You know, you gave me some hope. That, to me, is the greatest thing about what we did, is that it reached people on such a huge level.
So it was only natural for Paul McCartney to reach out after the terrorist attacks of September 11th.
I'd had a concert planned in Russia, actually, but once September 11th happened, I thought, no, this is not a good idea. It doesn't seem as appropriate. I thought it should be, I should switch those plans to New York. So once I knew I had this show, I thought, well, instead of just doing what people expect me to do, like Let It Be and songs that I'm kind of known for, it'd be really good to have a song, if I could come up with it, that would really be specifically for the concert. So it had to be very simple. So I started writing something for this is my right. Can't imagine the crowd. You know, talking about freedom.
Freedom. Everybody wants freedom.
McCartney put to words and music the feelings of a horrified world. He'd been there, in New York, on a plane waiting to take off. Watched through the windows as the towers burned, then crumbled. And in the days that followed, American leaders putting on a brave face.
This enemy attacked not just our people, but all freedom-loving people everywhere in the world.
We'd seen President Bush and Mayor Giuliani go on television trying to sort of cool everyone down, you know, because it's quite a sort of scary thing, I think, for everyone in the world, you know. And they kept saying, you know, this is an attack on our freedom, the freedom, our way of life, and the freedom we enjoy. And I did realize that, you know, at the end of the World War II, you had all these people coming to America to escape, and Canada, to escape all these sort of oppressive regimes, and they came to these lands where they had this amazing freedom that we take for granted. So I thought, yeah, it'd be nice to write a song about freedom.
This is my right, a right given by God, to live a free life, to live in freedom. Yeah.
And wrote it from the perspective of some guy or girl who lives in America or Canada or in one of these sort of free democracies that we enjoy, saying, this is my right, you know, right given by God, and like, don't try and take it away because I really value this.
In a city scarred and touched by tragedy, McCartney's music touched a nerve.
But we went to a Yankees baseball game, New York Yankees baseball game the next day, and there's guys in the crowd saying, hey, Paul, thanks for the concert, man. Freedom! You know, so it kind of worked. It did what I wanted, which is like raise people's spirits and give them somewhere to put those feelings.
Is it the anthem then? Did you have that in your mind, giving New York?
That's what I was trying to do. Yeah, I thought, you know, this will be a big concert because the people who were starting to join the bill, you know, Mick was joining, and Dave Bowie, and The Who, and Billy Joel, Elton, and millions of other great people. So I knew this is going to be some big show.
A concert that raised $45 million for the victims of the World Trade Center attack. In the audience, more than 6,000 members of New York fire, police, rescue workers, and their families. It was also his chance to give back to New York.
Ladies and gentlemen, here are the Beatles.
McCartney first charmed this city along with John, George, and Ringo, the Beatles, in the 60s. When Beatlemania swept the world, and changed the face of music.
When I was younger, so much younger than today, I never needed anybody's help in any way.
McCartney and John Lennon formed the band and wrote most of the Beatles' hits.
Look at all the lovely people.
McCartney's contribution was a simple touch for songs and melodies.
It's a bit of a mystery how I do songs. That is really how I feel about it. When I did Yesterday, I just dreamed it, right? I was asleep, and then there was a piano. What's this tune? I go, what is that?
Yesterday, all my troubles seem so far away.
So it came to me like completely in a dream. It was like a, magical thing. So I have to believe that. There's no way back. When Yesterday arrives in a dream, and it's the most recorded song, in a long while, you have to believe in that. So each time, but I love that. So each time I sit down to write a new album or write a new song, there's that mystery about it for me.
But the end of the Beatles was looming. In 1970, they played their last concert on the roof at Apple Records on Abbey Road in London. Then George, Ringo, John, and Paul went their separate ways.
When Wings was trying to become established, you would never have touched a Beatles song. I mean, it was sort of...
at the beginning we wouldn't. The idea was there life after the Beatles? If after the Beatles, each of the individual members of the Beatles just went and did Beatles songs, it seemed like an anticlimax, because you wouldn't be with the Beatles anymore. It'd be a solo member doing a Beatles thing. So John went off and did Give Peace a Chance and the Instant Karma and the kind of stuff he did around that time.
You were always socially responsible, I guess.
Yeah, we all kind of, I think we pretty good guys, the Beatles.
Yeah.
We're lucky with the amount of success we had that we weren't like real weirdos, because we could have persuaded people to pretty much anything. But lucky, you think about it, Give Peace a Chance, All You Need Is Love. It's kind of nice stuff, really. It's got, I think, a good moral base.
Of all the Beatles, McCartney's solo career has been the most successful, especially after John Lennon was murdered by a fan. In 1979, the Guinness Book of World Records declared McCartney the most successful songwriter in the history of the world. A prolific output of more than 60 albums, hundreds of singles, more than 400 songs, even classical compositions.
Well, number one, because I love to do it. And I would do it even if it didn't get released. But then number two, that people, really seem to like it and get something off it. And hopefully with the new album, the more they play it, the more you get into it.
It's tough to win over a new audience. I mean, you've got all the fans, but it's at the younger audience you're still trying to...
Well, the younger audience had won over by the Beatles won. I mean, it was number one in 34 countries. And like I say, I went to LA and everyone go, my 8-year-old loves you. Or I was out walking once, and there's this little girl who I would think I didn't really have any connection with, other than I'm just another grown-up. And their mother sort of says, this is Paul at the Beatles. I'm going, hi, and I'm messing around like you do with kids, hey, I want no trouble from you, just joking. And she goes, Yellow Submarine, and I say, wow, hey.
I hear your music and it's driving me wild.
Paul McCartney's music just keeps reaching out and makes him big money. McCartney is a billionaire. An army of handlers keep his career on track and up to date, even reaching out to fans over the internet.
Keep rocking and keep watching and keep tuned in. We'll be back later. Yo!
Or offering Paul's view of the world taken with his watch camera.
Who's made it?
Larry King, I saw in a...
This is a camera watch. And I took a picture of it when I was on his show.
Actually, I think you were talking about it on the show.
He asked me a sort of deep and meaningful question.
That's right.
To Paul and so on. So I was going, hang on, Larry, just a minute. He said, what are you doing? I said, I'm taking your picture.
Funny.
Can we get a shot of that?
Do you really use that thing, or is it just...
Yeah. That's if you want me to take a picture of you. How's the lighting? Should be pretty good, actually. Diddle it down. You see, have we got a picture?
Where's the lens,
Will you
though?
look over this way, will you, love? Yeah. Here we go,
Oh, I see the little...
Look at me, see it?
Yeah? Hello.
Good. Oh, excellent.
Now let's have a look.
It shows up black and white, but it is actually colour when you get in on your computer.
Oh, so there's a little
It goes
memory?
through the computer. Hang on. We have to go there where it says play,
Oh,
and then we
that's
go there.
cool.
There's you.
That's very cool.
See?
Well, I'm on Paul McCartney's
You're on
watch.
my watch.
I love that.
The watch cam pictures shared with fans on his latest album, but try to dig deeper and you're often left with a grainy picture. McCartney guards his privacy, his most intimate moments shared only through music. Remember Yesterday?
Somebody said years after the song Yesterday, that was to do with the death of my mum. Why she had to go, I don't know, she wouldn't say. And I remember thinking, you know what, psychologically speaking, you could be right. But it's not anything I'm aware of. It's a more subconscious thing, because I think writing song, as I say, is a mystery. So I just sort of let it happen.
When it happens, it comes from the world around him or deep within. On his latest album, songs that reflect the pain and joy of his recent life.
Lonely Road is just such an emotional song. Do you feel, though, that it is sort of your tribute to Linda?
I think so. You know, it's a tribute to Linda on one hand, but it's also a tribute to Heather on another hand.
A song for his wife Linda, who died in 1998.
I tried to get over you. I tried to find something new.
Theirs was a rock and roll love story. Married for nearly 30 years, 4 children. They toured together, all cut short by breast cancer.
Magic is about Linda. That was about the night we met. That's specifically for her.
Tell me about that night.
That night, we were in a club called the Bag of Nails, where I always used to hang out in this club. It was our pub. I saw her across the room and thought, whoa, like you do. And then she went to leave, and I just thought, oh, okay, you know, but I thought, oh, she's leaving, wait a minute. And I had to stand up and say, hi, you know.
Must have been magic. The night that we met. If I hadn't stopped you, I'd always regret.
And that was how we met. And I'd always said to the kids, you know, if I hadn't have stood up there and I hadn't have done that one little pivotal moment, you lot wouldn't be here, you know.
After Linda's death, Paul McCartney searched for new meaning to life and found new love. British model Heather Mills, once again, shared in his music.
From a Lover to a Friend was one of those where I'm just plonking and I'm just sort of doing, you know, so this kind of thing, you know, just like you do when you start a song, maybe you just sort of select a kind of vibe to go on. And I just found myself singing this from a lover to a friend. Da-da-da-da-da, you turn out to be. And often you don't quite know why you've said it. You know, really it should have been from a friend to a lover. But it just came out the other way around, and I start thinking, oh, let's follow that then, you know, from a lover to a friend. You turn out to be. Take your own advice. Let me love again, which a lot of people have taken from me saying, let me have a new
That's
love,
what I
you know,
wondered.
after 30
Was that
years
a
of marriage.
message to the
Well, you
spirit
know,
of Linda?
Do you know, I didn't mean it to be, but I think it may be.
McCartney and Mills met at a charity event. She's an active campaigner against landmines, a cause McCartney has now embraced. After 2 years together, 3 years after the death of Linda, Paul and Heather Mills announced their engagement.
From a lover to a friend, take your own advice.
After 30 years marriage, as you say, I got used to the idea that I'm a married guy and you don't look at women. Well, you do, but it's sort of, hello, how are you? And it's like just on a sort of person basis. And then I was at this awards ceremony, and I hadn't been going to many, but fate had it that I went to this particular one. Turns out, similar thing with Heather. She just went to this particular one. Heather was giving this award to this girl, Helen, and I just saw her and thought, wow, she looks great. It was, again, that sort of first attraction. And then over the next weeks, I started talking to her about various charity things, and then we got to know each other.
Did you become more interested in those charities because you were more interested in her?
Yes. Yes.
It can change.
It's true.
Do you feel...
Busted. No, it's true. That is true, yeah. I thought, I mean, it was good stuff to get interested in anyway, but I admit, you know, because she was involved.
Do you ever go back to Liverpool?
Yeah.
Found lots of families still there.
It's great up there. Oh, hey, yeah, great, you know. Well, the great thing is, like, I'm nobody.
I doubt that.
No, in my family.
Oh, in your family.
In my
they
family,
keep you
I'm
humble?
like, everywhere else I'm known. But in my family, it's like, Paul, you know, all right, Paul, how you doing? You know. And I really have to, like, you know, fight to get acknowledged. It's great. I love it. It really keeps me in my place, you know.
But do songs keep... I mean, when I go to Liverpool, I can't get your songs out of my head. Is it like that for you?
A little bit. You know, if I'm driving past Penny Lane, you know, I will go, hey, that's where we've been, Penny Lane? You know, and you do it. Just going back up there, it's great fun, you know, I love it, because I love the town, I love the people. I think there's a great warmth in Liverpool people. They're, you know, they're good in adversity. We came from good parents, came from a good town, Liverpool, and I think, you know, fate put us together, and we went and did this thing and had this great success. And luckily, I think the message mainly was a very good one.
In November, George Harrison died, leaving only Paul and Ringo, the last of the 4 lads from Liverpool who changed the world. McCartney had visited George in the final weeks of his battle with cancer.
I'm just privileged to have known him, and I love him like he's my brother. It was a very sad day for me and for a lot of other people.
Tragedy and joy, recurring themes of McCartney's music and his life.
Yeah, it's terrible when anyone's ill, you know. You just cross your fingers, you pray to the Lord, and you just hope for the best. That's really all I do there, you know. The rest is really private, you know. I don't like to get into it on interviews and stuff.
And how does McCartney reconcile that privacy with his very public music?
That's public-private. It's a bit of a diary. I'm saying to people, okay, this is me. A friend of mine once called it like a postcard. You know, hi, I'm on holiday, and this is what I'm thinking. The weather's good, and I found a girlfriend, and so on and so forth. It's like your message from the front kind of thing, you know. So that's what this is to me. And it's got a lot of things that I'm feeling at the moment.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go for a drive. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's go there and back again.
Is there any moment you're nostalgic for?
I'm not that nostalgic. It occasionally will hit me when something like the Beatles 1 album came out, and I listen to it, and suddenly it's like drowning. You know, there's all those hits. And I just thought, God, that sounds great. I can see why 10-year-olds like it. I mean, to me as a songwriter, I look at it and go, good structure. Those songs are well structured, you know, so I look at it like as a craftsman. But normally I like to kind of get on and do new stuff, because that's actually what we were doing in the Beatles. We weren't nostalgic about the first year's career. We just got on with, and Sgt. Pepper wasn't nostalgic about Rubber Soul.
And yet...
doing the new album, you know, is a great sort of thing for me. It's what I've always done, is just coming up with something different.
Paul McCartney, one man's life through his music.